Hi all, welcome to TechFest Java. In this video we are going to discuss about some other features related to Springboot microservices. In previous videos we have been discussed that how we can create a Springboot project using Spring initializer and how we can deploy with the internal tomcat and how to run that Springboot project. And in this video we are going to cover about the properties file, how we can define some important properties and how to use those properties. And apart from that we are going to discuss about application.yml property property file, how we can define application.yml property file in place of application.properties file. We can use application.yml property file also. That is also work for similar way like application.properties file works. So these things we are going to be discussed in this video. Let's just start. So in previous video we have been created one Springboot project using Springboot initializer, and in this project we have created a Springboot main class. There is an application.properties file and other things are as well. So now I'm going to create one controller class over here. Fine, let's just give an image demo controller, and this controller class I'm going to annotate with that the rest controller. And apart from this I'm going to define one get API that is annotating with get mapping. I'm doing nothing, just defining public string get message, and I'm returning an string hello TechFest Java for Springboot microservice. That's it. Okay. And in properties file I have given one property like server.port. So before that running this, I'm just removing this file, and let's see what the changes will done when we are defining this property file or without this property server.port. So firstly I'm going to run this application. Okay, now it is running. As we can see that tomcat started with 8080 port. Okay, so if we going to browser and going to define calling the service. Okay, this is happening because we didn't put any URI over here, so we'll just define that URI also. Okay, we have to start the server again. Okay, now if we are going to run this, whatever we have printed the message, it will returning here, right? Okay, now I'm going to define one property that is called server.port, and I'm giving the port at 8081 this time. So currently at which port this service is running? This service is running basically on port number 8080. If you can see, the tomcat started on the port number 8080. Now I have defined this port number as 8081 in the property file, and now I am going to run this service again. Let's see at which port the tomcat will start. Actually, it is taking some time. Wait for it. Okay, let's try to run this service again. Okay, now if you can see that now this tomcat is now started at 8081. Before that it was started at by default 8080 port. So this way we can change the port on which the service need to be run. If we change it at 9091 and restart the server again, the tomcat will start it with the port number 809091. So if we are hitting this with 8080, let's see what we will get. We are not getting the response, right? So if we hit this, we are getting the response now. There are some properties which we are defining over here. There are some configuration properties, and that properties are basically used in our business logic to get some values. On the basis of that, we will put some checks. So how do we define those things? So I'm just taking one property, that is application.name, and I'm just defining that demo application. And here what I'm going to do, I'm just taking as @value and defining one private string variable name as project name, and here I'm just reading that property file value like this: spring.application.name, and put all the things in quotes. Okay, fine. Now I have defined the properties. Now I am going to print this to see that what it will print and what it will read. Value of property. Oh. Let's just stop the server and start again. Okay, now our service is being started. Hit the service again, and we can see that we are getting the value. Let's properly read it. The demo application is being written in this property file, their value, and here we are trying to get that value and print it. So it is printing. So this way, by using @value annotation, we can tag that properties with some variable name, and then that variable will be initialized with that property, and we can use wherever we want in our program. So this is how we can define that application.properties file. And now I am going to define .yml file. So I'm going to make the change over here itself and refactor this as .yml. Okay, now I'm going to open this file and let's try to make the change over here. Server dot server dot port, and now here I'm just going to define the property port number 9091 in place of 8081 previously I have defined. I'm going to define 9091, and here I'm going to define spring dot application dot name, and that name I have to give it into quotes. So I'm going to give demo application YAML. Okay, now let's try to rerun this code. Okay, now server is gets started. As you can see that the tomcat is now started with 9091. And here this is the YAML file which we have defined. Now let's just try to hit the service again. Now if we try to hit this, we won't get result. Why? Because now the service is started at not 8081, it's a 9091. So we will just make a change of this and hit it. Now we are getting the result. If we go here and we can see that we are getting the property file value, right? So this way we can define that application.yml properties, your YAML file for defining the properties, and we can define either application.properties or application.yml file for defining the properties. And how we can read those properties? So we have a @value annotation by which we can read this property. There is another way also. By that we can read these properties. We can define one bean class, and that bean class we will annotate it with the @configuration properties, and that will be defined over there with each and every property name. We will define one field, and that field will be read it by environment variable and define that. So that is another way. We will discuss that part in some other video. So in this video we have defined, and one more thing we can define over here, that like in a different environment, like in development environment or in QA environment or in prod environment, there is a different property fields values are there. Like in development environment, suppose that application is running on 9091 port, but in prod environment it would be running at 9095 port. So how do we define the profiles for these properties file? We will see in later videos. So that's it for this video. In next video we will try to cover the profile related part. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe my channel, and also comment out. Thank you. Thanks for watching.